Hi, folks. Welcome to the Ivy Boys podcast. I am your host, Chipper Lewis, and today I'm joined by on the road again, Joel Fry. Joel, how's it going, buddy?
Going good, man. It's going good, man. Just heading home, and I certainly don't want to miss the show for anything. So, big family, so we're out and about enjoying ourselves, but always have time for a little Cubs baseball with you, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Just got off work. It was a busy day. It was 65 degrees here in St. Louis. So, working at a meat market / grocery store, it's a busy day. So I'm just glad to be home, glad to be talking Cubs baseball. When the weather is this nice, that's all I can think about is Cubs baseball. So,
oh, absolutely, man. 65 degrees. A lot of grillers out there enjoying the first day of March.
yes, yeah, March 1st. First day. Hey, it's the first day of meteorological. I said that totally wrong. Spring, but you guys knew what I meant. So there's that. So technically,
right,
spring.
You're such a weatherhead. We never ever get into that on the show, but you always you're a
Yes.
storm chase and everything, man.
Yes, I used to be a storm chaser for a few years. I am a weather geek. Mike Trout and I have something very, very in common that would be a lot of fun to talk to him about. But I doubt that I'm ever going to get a chance to sit down and talk weather with Mike Trout. I don't think that would be the first thing that would jump in my mind to talk to him about.
That's the only thing he would want to talk about. He doesn't seem to be interested in at all in his career. He's way more interested in talking about weather or fishing or whatever. So.
Yeah. Hey, I could talk fishing too. A little fly fishing, I'd be okay. But anyways, we're back again. Just like I said, we'd be back. Joel, you're on the road, but you know what? There's no robot voice while you're doing this, so that is a plus. I'll take that any day over the robot Joel there for a little bit.
No, man, the friction of tire on pavement much preferential. So that sounds so bad. And we're only 25 days away from opening day at this point, man.
Which is great. Which is awesome. Which brings us to our first topic. Actually, this is the Ivy Boys podcast presented by Rebecca Lewis of Coldwell Banker Gundecker, 314-369-9680 or RebeccaSellsDreams.com. So we have a little competition for starting center fielder for the Chicago Cubs come opening day. At least we would think that's a competition. Let's start with the guy who most likely will be penciled in as the starter, Ian Happ. I, in the last podcast, said how much I just think Ian Happ's going to have a massive, massive breakout season this year. When he first came back from the minors, his OPS being 892 right there just tells me that he has figured something out. What was wrong? I still think he's working on his strikeouts, which if he can even lower strikeouts just a little bit more, he's going to have that breakout year. Joel, are you on board with me with my love affair with Ian Happ this year being the guy that I think is going to be the massive breakout? Are you on board with it, or you're kind of there but not quite there, or you're like, you know what, I'm done with him?
Man, it really depends on what you consider a massive breakout to be. Look who he has to beat. He has to beat a guy like Albert Almora, a soft contact machine who has never had an OPS over 800 during his career. Last year, his OPS plus, so 100 being normal, was in the 60s, 70s for almost the entire season. So what does Ian Happ have to do? He has to be league average for you to have a massive uptick at the position, one that probably is the weakest on the diamond offensively for the Cubs. And what Happ will bring, which is consistent plate discipline, an OPS over 800 at the very least, and more power than Almora, you're going to feel like by comparison he's having a remarkable year because the weakest link in the Cubs lineup is probably going to be much stronger this year than it has been in years past. Couple that with the fact that he can switch hit and he is versatile enough on the base paths and in the outfield, he should be a guy who plays 140 games barring injury in center field. So if that's what you're considering as a massive outbreak, as a big uptick, then sure, I'll buy it. He's not going to be a top 5 outfielder or center fielder in the National League. He is, what is he, 25, 26 now? He's up
26.
there. Yeah, so I think what you're going to get this year is what you're going to get out of Ian Happ going forward. And I don't see him being a 35 home run guy. If you get that, then the Cubs are going to win 95 games. So no, I think he's going to be fine. He's going to have a good year, but I don't believe that he's going to be an all-star or anything of that nature.
Okay, so you think he's okay? So we agree that he's going to be a good baseball player this year, a good ball player this year. We 100% agree on that. It's just the level of how good he's going to be is where we disagree. That's
Yeah, I
kind of
think
what
it's
I'm
going to be
getting at.
like, I mean, if his OPS plus is 105, if he's 5% better than the average National League center fielder, you're thrilled about that because that means he's 30% better than Albert Almora and on a club that was a winning ball team last year. So it would prove, for one thing, it would show that it was worth it to send him down to Iowa last year. And if his strikeouts are lower, which is one of the biggest things with him, is that he has gaping holes in his strike zone. Or in his swing path, I guess I should say. His strike zone's solid. His swing path is not. It would just prove that the process of making him as a reclamation project worked. That's all.
So his OPS plus last year. Now this was limited time, of course. He only played in the second half. It was 126. Was Ian Happ's. So he's 26% better than the average ball player. Mike Trout's was 185. That's my comparison. So if I really like a number of somebody, I go comparison to Mike Trout because he's the best. That's going to be the top, the way I look at it. So, but now am I saying Ian Happ is going to be Mike Trout? Absolutely not. Amazing as that would be, he's not going to be Mike Trout. But do I think that he could? What? What about Kyle Schwarber?
That he had an OPS plus of 151 in the second half last year, and that's still 34% less.
Which is crazy.
And we thought that's like MVP caliber, but you go up against the best hitter since Babe Ruth, it's going to look a little bit different.
Right,
so.
Exactly. So, but do I think 150? You said 151 for Kyle Schwarber last year of OPS plus
in the second half of the season.
Okay. Do I think that Ian Happ could hit 151 OPS plus? Yes, I do. I think he has the capability of doing that. I think that's right up there with what you said. If he does do that, the Cubs win 95 plus games easily. They easily win the division. But realistically, I could see Ian Happ having a OPS plus of maybe 135 and above. I do.
Okay. I disagree. I would put his over-under. If we're being honest about this, if we're being straight, I would put his over-under at 119.5. Would you take the over or the under on 119.5 for Ian Happ?
I take the over.
Okay. I'll take the under. We'll do just a little gentleman's agreement here and say it's okay. And
that should be the notification when we get a gentleman's agreement.
That was the gentleman's agreement alert. We should have a sound effect for that.
That would be awesome.
What was it last year where we had some sort of wager and like it was so it was 4.5 games, wasn't it? The Cubs would
I totally lost that.
You said the Cubs would win the Central by 4.5 games. And I don't know what our agreement was. It was something. I picked a beer for you, or I was going to pick a beer for you. I forget. But
yeah, you were going to give me a beer to chug on the show, but we haven't done the beer chug yet. I think that's going to have to make a comeback. Maybe not next week, but the following week.
I think by opening day we'll have the beer chug back.
Yeah, I think so because
they just opened a new liquor store here in my hometown. They look like a pretty good beer selection. I might be able to grab some really creative ones. And I'll look forward to that. You bet.
And also, there's a chance the Cubs could not be playing good baseball, and we will need to drink just because of that. So.
That's all right. No one's going to see it because it's on the Marquee Network. Like three carriers.
There it is. Yes, that is true. But anyway, so we have sort of a disagreement on Ian Happ. That's fine. We both think he's still going to be a really good ball player. He's going to help this ball club. He's going to be the starting center fielder. The only reason he would not be is if for whatever reason Albert Almora Jr. keeps up with what he's doing in spring training this year. This is the Ivy Boys podcast presented by Rebecca Lewis of Coldwell Banker Gundecker, 314-369-9680 or RebeccaSellsDreams.com. Okay, so Albert Almora Jr. so far this spring training, you ready for his numbers? Now, I'll tell you why I don't think these matter, but his slash line is 6.67. 727, and a slugging of 1.111. Okay, so now they granted that's only in 11 plate appearances and stuff like that. I get it. It's spring training. Numbers don't matter to me in spring training. But you can't ignore numbers like that. You actually have to talk about numbers like that. The reason I'm not sold on Albert Almora Jr., and I want to be, trust me, I want Albert Almora Jr. to be awesome. I really, truly do. But the reason I'm not sold on it is because the last couple springs, he's done pretty much the same thing. He's hit over 300, on base percentage of around 400, and then the season starts and something changes with him. And so that is why I'm not sold on him, Joel. What about you?
He's not an impressive mental specimen, I've found. He really gets hard on himself when he fails. And in baseball, it's a game of failure. You're going to fail. He hit 290 something his first 2 or 3 years in the league. He had a consistent batting average over 280, and even then, I mean, he got a little hard on himself because he has always been, just like all of these guys, they've all been the best baseball player on their team at every level of competition up until they get to the major leagues.
Yep.
So. Yeah, Almora's, I guess, having a hard time dealing with that, honestly, I think. You listen to him, he's a very intense guy, very introspective, very smart. He just does not want to fail, and I think he gets down on himself a little bit too much. He projected as a 25 home run guy when he was selected back in 2012. That has not happened. He was the first guy picked by this regime of Theo and Jed.
Yep.
And I think that's the main reason he's getting opportunities right now. Because if this team, and here's why I worry that the Cubs are not like the upper echelon efforts here. If Albert Almora was in the Dodgers system, I don't think he'd be in the Dodgers system anymore. He wouldn't have the playing time and the opportunities afforded to him that he has as a Cub. And it has probably hampered the Cubs' ability to win ball games because is he the best option? I don't know. I mean, Happ, I think, is a better option for many of the reasons that we've discussed already on the show. But is he so much better than Almora that Almora would not earn those opportunities on other teams? And I think the answer probably is yes. So I don't think Almora would be that on another contending ball club. What he is to the Cubs.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to agree with you. I think he's been held on because he was the very first pick of the regime. So baseballreference.com has a projection for him this season. His slash line 270, on base percentage of 315, and then, of course, slugging of 407. A guy who's supposed to be a leadoff hitter and starting center fielder, if your on base percentage is 315 or hell, even below 330, you're not a good leadoff hitter.
Nope.
You're not. Yeah, and it's just the reality with Albert Almora Jr. Last year he had an OPS plus, like that seems what we've really been talking about now, of 66.
Yep. And
it's not good.
Look, that his OPS is slated to be 721. That's what it's projected to be. I'd be interested to see what other guys' projections were versus what they actually did. I don't know what they had Anthony Rizzo as last year. Rizzo had a great season, by the way. No one talks about that.
No one talks about that.
Fantastic year. But Almora, he's one of those guys where I think that's pretty reliable. I would peg him for 270, 315. So they're saying he's going to have a bounce back year.
But he doesn't get on base.
He doesn't get on base.
Here's the thing: if he could get on base more and make his walks happen, they have more strikeouts than walks next year. This year. If they can make it where, like, if he could figure out how he could take walks, like Ben Zobrist could. Ben Zobrist could go up there and get you a walk when you needed him to do it. He could. If Albert Almora Jr. could figure that out and raise his on-base percentage by doing that, he has a spot in Major League Baseball. That's huge. Literally, there was Moneyball. The theory Moneyball was built around on-base percentages, getting on base. Yep. If Albert Almora could figure out how to just get on base without hitting the ball, he'd be a huge commodity for a playoff bound team.
Or just hit the ball harder than he does now. Also,
well, yeah, that too. That would help also.
A lot of singles, not many extra. Like last year was his career high in home runs, and everything else just went to pot for him. So, what do they have? I'll give you the opportunity to look this up, but what do they have Javi Baez projected as? I ask about Javi because, these projections that you look at, like Baseball Reference, Fangraphs, Zips, all those, they're typically pretty conservative. So I'm wondering if, they're looking at a guy like Javi maybe and seeing him hitting 283 this year or something with an on base of 325. Numbers that a Cubs fan looks at and goes, well, that better be the minimum that he does performance wise, because he's in a lot of ways the face of your franchise. Javi Baez is. So if you want to look that up, see where
I got it right
at.
here.
Okay.
You were close. You started saying those numbers, and I was like, he has to be looking at it. I
haven't broken eye contact with you. All I have is a phone, man. That's all I got.
280, 321, 525.
Okay, so they put 846 OPS. That is top 5 shortstop in the National League. That is top 15 player in the National League, maybe top 25 player in all of baseball.
And then 28 home runs and 85 RBIs.
28 home runs. Okay, so they think he'll be down there. And I think he had way fewer last year, but he was injured, so not really fair to compare. I would look more like at 2018 and see where that puts him. But
yeah. So let's see here. 147 strikeouts and only 30 walks.
That's pretty fair.
That's pretty fair on Javi.
That's fair.
Let's look at.
He might not see 33 ball counts this year. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Intentional walks.
Let's jump back really quick about. This is off topic, and then we'll get to a question on YouTube before we jump to the next category. Also, Anthony Rizzo's stats last year, very underrated. Very underrated. He slashed 293, 405, and 520.
Yes.
An OPS of 924, an OPS plus of 137.
A premier first baseman in all of baseball in 2019.
27 home runs, 94 RBIs, and he was hurt. He missed a week and a half, 2 weeks at least?
Roughly, yeah. With back issues.
Yeah, with the back issues and then the knee.
Yeah, and those back issues aren't going to get better. He's dealt with that his entire career. So that's just something that's baked into your Anthony Rizzo experience in 2020. Expect that.
Something else that really stands out to me, he only struck out 86 times.
Did he have more walks than strikeouts last year?
No.
Okay.
It was 2017. He had more walks than strikeouts by 1.
All right. I know that's something that, you kind of think of when you think Anthony Rizzo. He walks more than he strikes out. Yeah. Fairly often, like over a month stretch or something. So I wasn't sure. Was it not that close last year? Was it like 65 and 86 or something?
It was 86 strikeouts and 71 walks.
Okay. All right. Still, it's not Albert Pujols, but still pretty good.
So rank the first basemen in the National League. Who's top 3?
Based on just my is Rizzo? Josh Bell plays first base, right?
Yes.
All right, but he fell off a cliff last year.
Yes, he did.
This is tough because
is Rizzo in the top 3? That's basically my question.
I would say Rizzo's top 3.
Okay.
Who would you put number 1?
Freddie Freeman.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's close. I had Paul Goldschmidt last year before Freeman had a monster year.
See, I don't even know. I mean, Goldschmidt. I'm thinking about what their 2020 is going to look like. If Rizzo is healthy, he's probably top 3. Goldschmidt might have a bounce back year, but I mean, what are you basing that on? He's a year older. It's not like a lot of guys in the post 2006 era, wink, wink, have had monster seasons in their 30s. After having a bad year in their 30s.
Right.
So, Freeman, Goldschmidt right there. And then, I don't know, I like Josh Bell.
What about Pete Alonso?
Yeah, Pete Alonso is he's a regression candidate for sure.
Absolutely.
I don't I don't think he hits 50 homers again, but what do I know? I mean, I didn't think he would hit 50 homers last year.
Yeah.
These guys, they come out of nowhere and just blow your mind. Um, yeah, Alonso probably will have a better year than Rizzo, but they're going to be
Maybe.
pitching different.
Yeah.
There's an entire offseason of preparation to go into getting Pete Alonso out. And so I don't think he's going to be what he was last year. So in terms of value to a winning program, Rizzo is more valuable to the Cubs than Alonso is to the Mets.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. I think Rizzo is going to have a really good year. I think the numbers are going to be very similar to what he did last year, maybe even a little bit better. I think Rizzo, he doesn't say it, and of course he never will, but I think he's a little annoyed with the whole extension thing not really happening right now. And I think he's
Yeah.
going to kind of come out to, I'm going to show you all that I do deserve what I think I deserve. And I
I
think
wonder
I
if the
could see
like, do you think he gets done during the season this year?
the extension.
Yeah, he's on a really team friendly contract, and eventually you want to do right by your guy.
I really do believe Anthony Rizzo will uh, be a Cub for the rest of his career.
Okay.
I strongly believe that. I think out of everybody, it's him over Javi Baez. I think Rizzo is the Cub for life.
That's very interesting that you think that. Now, Javi is a trade candidate if things go south this year.
Oh, oh my gosh, yeah. And you can ask for the world for Javi Baez at the trade deadline if everything goes south.
I would say he's number one. He's gonna get
Yeah.
more than Bryant. And the
Yep.
fact that Javi's name is never mentioned in these trade rumors, maybe says something about what the Cubs feel about him. That they will definitely extend him. And then he becomes less tradable because his contract isn't as favorable. But at the same time, I think the Cubs expect to contend,
Yeah.
obviously, and they're not even thinking about what happens if things go south,
No.
or if they are thinking it's just a contingency plan because they do their due diligence on everything, and they're not really entertaining it unless there's like an emergency in case of falling apart, break glass plan of action in Theo's office or something.
Yes. Wouldn't that be funny if there's just like an envelope with "Do not open" unless, of course, shit hits the fan.
Yes, exactly.
um.
It's just all it says is when Lester gets old and bad.
Hey, after his first start this spring, that was starting to, the wheels were turning in the head that might be happening, and then today he pitched really really good because it's spring training and it doesn't matter.
No attention to it.
No, don't pay attention to the pitchers right now because of that.
Yeah. If you are watching on Marquee Network, God love you for being that big of a Cubs fan. I watch the highlights of every Cubs catcher who's ever put on a uniform home run, and that's about it. And don't just keep in mind, by the way, if you're watching this and you are in the back of your mind, you're like, I wonder when they're going to talk about how bad guys have looked in spring training or how good they've looked. We'll touch on it, but keep in mind, we don't know what they're working on in spring training.
Right.
John Lester might go out there and say, all right, I'm going to try a new grip on my cutter, and I'm going to see how it works for 2 innings. If I don't like how it feels, maybe I'll go back. I'll tinker with that. My four-seamer, maybe I'll put my fingers here instead of here. Maybe he's working on a new release point. There are so many things these guys work on in between starts during spring training that's just them getting a feel for baseball. They might throw 25 curveballs in a row just so they can get a feel for their curveball.
Right.
Or they can get a mastery of their curveball, or their slot is different or something like that. It has no bearing. They would not pitch the way in the regular season as they would in spring training. Don't put any stock into it, good or bad. It informs nothing.
Yep. Which is actually brings us to our next and last topic. This is the Ivy Boys podcast, presented by Rebecca Lewis of Coldwell Banker Gundecker, the MVP realtor of the St. Louis area. Rebecca Lewis is, of course, Joel is a no-nonsense realtor.
She's not going to try and sell you a bag of nails when you think you're trying to buy a house.
That is right.
That'd
Unless,
be
of
dumb.
course, something needs to be fixed in it.
Right.
Anyways, so you like that? Yeah, I lost it there.
Go back and forth.
Yeah, I lost it. She is a no nonsense realtor. So if you are looking to move to the St. Louis area, or if you're looking to move from the St. Louis area because it's so boring, or if you're looking to move move within the St. Louis area, contact Rebecca Lewis of Coldwell Banker Gundecker. She will help you with anything. If you need a referral for your new city that you're moving to, she will find you the best realtor in that city. If you are looking for your forever home because you're moving from your first home, she will find you the perfect house for you and your partner to raise a family, to do whatever you want in the home that you're going to be in for 30 plus years. If you're looking for your first home, let's say you're finally ready to be an adult and just go for it, she will find you the perfect home for you. When it comes to your first home, Rebecca Lewis takes care of her clients because she cares about her clients. She will, if she notices that you're down about something, she will make sure that she'll give you make you feel good there for a moment, because she cares. She cares about her clients. She wants the top dollar or the best house for her clients. So Rebecca Lewis of Coldwell Banker Gundecker can do all that for her. So for you. So please contact her at 314-369-9680 or RebeccaSellsDreams.com. Okay, so Yu Darvish. How about Yu Darvish yesterday? He hit 98. Hit 98 just because he could. What the hell? Why not? Hit 98 on the gun. I don't know about you, but I'm excited for Darvish. If we can get Darvish that was second half for a whole season, Yu Darvish is going to be a candidate for the Cy Young.
He seems so comfortable as a Cub now. It was weird at first. It was uncomfortable at first. The fans turned on him, and then you started hearing the crowd at Wrigley go from boo to you. And it was such a good feeling as a Cubs fan to see that he began to endear himself to the masses there at Wrigley Field. And you know what? I think he is my favorite to win the Cy Young in 2020.
Whoa.
Yep.
Where's that breaking news thing? No, that's not it.
It's close.
It's close. I don't know what that was.
That's all right. And yeah, man, I will pick. I'm not picking any other Cub to win an award except for, if they end up winning a ton of games, David Ross for Manager of the Year, we'll see. But that depends on so much. And Manager of the Year usually goes to a guy who turns a team around that was already really bad.
Yeah.
And the Cubs weren't bad enough last year to be considered bad. They were 84 win ball club who was in the playoff hunt until the last 12 games of the season when they lost 8 in a row or whatever it was. So I would say the only award I'm going to pick for the Cubs, Yu Darvish for Cy Young.
Okay.
That's my prediction. That's how good I think he is going to be, Chipper. That's not based on him hitting 98. That's based on his body of work last season and the ability he has to take over ball games consistently. The only thing that's going to hurt him is high pitch counts this year, I think. Over consistent, like he'll have a couple of bad outings. He'll get shelled. Everyone gets shelled.
Yes.
Unless you're Pedro Martinez in 2000, you are not going to get out of an entire year without getting just blitzed a couple of times. But in those 27, 28 games where he doesn't have his premier best stuff, because I'm expecting him to have almost no hit level stuff for like 5 or 6 games this year, because he has that. He's that good. But he, he's not going to throw a no hitter, I don't think. But he's going to have that stuff where you go, man, a couple of things had gone differently, and he could have gotten through the 6th without giving up a base runner or whatever. In those other 27, 28 games where he's not at his best, I expect him to be in much greater command of his stuff. His walk rate last year was hilariously low for a very long period of time, and he wasn't giving up hits while not walking people.
Yeah.
That Yu Darvish this year, Forget it. Pencil him in. Cy Young winner, man. He gets to 200 innings this season, and I fully expect him to be the best pitcher in the National League.
Yeah, he only walked 56 people last year.
And that was with a bad start to the season. Look at his walks by month. Tell me how many walks he had in June, July, and August of last year. I bet he walked fewer than 10 guys in at least July and probably in June and maybe even August as well. I'm not sure, but I would say he walked fewer than 10 guys each of those. April, May, very bad, but
Yes.
June, July, August, his control was so perfect.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready for this.
Okay. In the month of June, 8.
8.
Month of July, 2. Hang on.
He walked 2, man.
Hang on. It gets better.
Great.
I'm skipping August. The September, October, he walked 4. And the reason I skipped August was because he walked one guy.
He walked one guy in August.
One guy. And he had 118 at bats against him.
Jeez. Yeah. So, and that guy didn't get hit very hard. I bet he had fewer hits than innings pitched in all those. He gave up fewer hits than innings pitched in all those months.
Oh, I guarantee it.
Yeah. So, yeah, that guy for a full year, he's my Cy Young favorite.
Yeah, I mean, even the month of August was his best month. There is no question. The BABIP against him was 239.
Nice.
Let's see here. Strikeout to walk ratio, of course, is 42 because he had 42 strikeouts that month. Batting average against was 212. On base percentage of 231. Slugging of 500. OPS of 731, which is crazy because, yeah, those numbers are a little interesting. Total bases, only 59 total bases. Given up.
He was great, man.
Awesome.
He was really, really great last year.
Yes, he was.
For a longer period of time than people realize. So, yep, I'm calling it Cy Young, Yu Darvish.
Now, the interesting thing that I see about Yu Darvish is his career ERA is 3.57. He usually sits around the mid 3s to 4s in his ERA. I would imagine that's just because he gives up a lot of home runs.
Well, also the fact that last year it was home runs for sure. Was last year his career high in home runs allowed?
That is correct, 33.
Yes. Yep. It felt like that was his one Achilles heel last year.
Yeah.
Pitching in the American League certainly didn't help. He's pitched in
True.
the NL since mid-2017.
I forgot about that.
2018 total loss. Forget that year. Last season, the home run got him, but it wasn't like he was the only guy. I mean, home runs last year were all-time high across the league. So
Right.
he needs to clean that up if he can, if the ball will allow him to clean it up, and then he is in a much better place. I think home runs are going to be more normal this year. I base that on nothing except for maybe the postseason ball, which was much better for balls getting hit in play. So the most recent ball we have in Major League Baseball was one that was conducive to pitchers not getting knocked out because they gave up 5 home runs by the 3rd inning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I love his chances. And that's on a team with at least one other guy who has a shot at it if he's at his best, and that's Kyle Hendricks. So, a lot has to go your way. And I guess nominating a guy who wins the Cy Young means that the voters are going to go for him over the inevitable 3 or 4 other guys who are going to have great seasons too. There's a lot of subjectivity in that, but I do think that he would be my preseason pick to win the Cy Young.
Okay, so there we go. I'm all for that. By the way, I am 100% for that. He and Hap has an MVP caliber season, and Yu Darvish wins the Cy Young.
All right. Well,
Cubs win 100 games. I mean, it's a perfect world.
That is. That's our world that we live in right now. We'll see how we feel on the 27th after one game, because the wheels could have fallen off at that point. But we'll see.
Actually, are we going to be recording right around then? because that'd be
All
awesome.
right.
We are going to be recording because since now we're kind of like on a Sunday schedule.
Yep.
So the first game is what, the 26th. So yeah, we'll have 3 games to talk about
Good deal.
when we
And
record.
I promise. Well, I promise I will try to not make any declarative statements about this team until after 60 games.
I'm okay with
Give
that.
them 60 games to figure out who they are, and then for the final 100, I'm going to say, all right, this is what we got a team that can contend, or we got a team that needs to make a couple of changes to try and get better for 2021.
I am on board with that. I was in that same boat last year where I would declare that the Cubs are going to do this, and I'm not going to do that this year. It's a wait and see kind of thing with the Ivy Boys this year. A wait and see. A wait and see. That was weird.
Yes.
A wait and see, guys. That's a wait and see. Anyways, okay. So before we wrap up, my brother-in-law, Tim Ash, asked he wants to do a bet on a 6-pack of Bud Light Seltzer. Now, my wife said I'm not allowed to drink seltzers anymore because I had a really bad next day after I drank 6 of them in an hour. Don't do that. Don't drink.
Oh, dude.
Don't drink 6 Bud Light Seltzers in an hour. Don't do that.
Ah.
Anyway, so he wants our projections for the NL Central this season. It's early,
Okay.
but let's do it. Why not?
Well, yeah, early as in no one's played meaningful baseball yet. Okay. You want mine? All right.
Go ahead.
With it. We'll go with it. I say it will be Cubs, Cardinals, Reds, Brewers, Pirates.
Cubs, Cards, Reds, Brewers, Pirates. All right.
In a really close, muddy division.
Except for the Pirates.
Right. They will be the mud.
They will be the mud. Watch, they beat all of us.
Right. What if their record is just incredible against the Central and the rest of the league? They wet the bed. That'd be so weird. But
So weird.
they're a terrible team.
They're
They're going to be really bad this year.
They're not going to be good. I feel bad for guys like Josh Bell.
Yeah, they're going to win 55 games.
Yeah, it's going to be bad. Okay, so my pick is extremely similar to yours, with the exception of one thing. I'm going Pirates at the bottom, of course, and then Milwaukee. I just feel like they have digressed so much.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm going Cards,
All right.
Reds, Cubs.
So flip-flopping our second and third. That's it.
Yep.
All
yeah.
right.
If you guys want to comment, send us a tweet or something like that about what you think the final standings are. That would be great. We would love to hear what your opinions are on that topic, and we will we'll talk about it on the air next week. Maybe not next week, but the following week. Because next week, Joel, we might have a special guest. I'm not going to say anything. We cannot say anything right now. It is not guaranteed. It's still kind of up in the air. We're waiting for one thing to happen. But we very well could be joined next week by a special guest, which I'm very excited about. So,
Perfect.
anyways, Joel, I think we did it. 40 minutes. 40 minutes. I'm happy with 40 minutes.
I am too. right.
Something's beeping at us. You got a final thought really quick?
That's my dad, so I gotta go. I don't have much of a final thought except that Lester will be much better than you saw in his first outing this year.
Yep. My final thought is a couple exciting things happening with the Ivy Boys soon. We promise, like I said, hopefully a special guest next week, and then something else. I just can't talk about it. I can't tell you yet, and it's killing me. I wish I could tell you all about it. Let's just say it has to do with merchandise. Something even cooler with merchandise. So that's my final thought. So definitely like and subscribe to this YouTube page. Follow us on Twitter. Let's just do the rundown. Follow me on Twitter at ChipperStrike3, just the number 3. Follow Joel on Twitter at Fry Sports Radio. Follow the Ivy Boys on Twitter, of course, at the Ivy Boys. Like us on Facebook. You know the drill. Everything you see on Facebook and Twitter is us. So definitely do whatever you got to do with Twitter and Facebook. Because that's where you're going to see all these announcements that are possibly coming to the Ivy Boys. One guaranteed it's coming. One we're still waiting on word. So bear with us on that. If you're looking to be a sponsor, by the way, if you want to be part of our show, definitely contact me at ChipperStrike3. Again, just the number 3 at gmail.com. Again, ChipperStrike3, just the number 3 at gmail.com if you are looking to be a sponsor. Head over to the website, check out all our blogs, everything like that's there. You know the drill. Go to the bottom. You see Bob Marufo's name on there. It takes you to his website, bobdoeswork.com, bobdoeswork.com, bobdoeswork.com. He does amazing work. If you're looking for logos for your rec volleyball team or rec softball team, check him out at bobdoeswork.com. He also teams up with his buddy Vincent Hennings. You can contact Vincent at vincenthennings.com. Go to his website. He actually does all the technical stuff when it comes to our YouTube page and everything like that. So definitely check out both of them if you're looking for something along the line what you see here. So that's bobdoeswork.com and vincenthennings.com. Again, we are also sponsored by Rebecca Lewis of Coldwell Banker Gundecker, 314-369-9680, or RebeccaSellsDreams.com. Anyways, guys, thank you. We will be back again next Sunday, again, hopefully with the special guest. Joel, 6 p.m. again, work for you?
That works. We'll talk to you then.
There you go. Ivy Boys Podcast next week here on YouTube. Like and subscribe to the YouTube page. Otherwise, guys, we thank you so much for your support. And we'll see you next episode.